So we need 400 and...
Under the program, money is collected from the sale of hunting permits and taxes on tourist lodges. It's substantial. Hunters pay up to $12,000 to hunt big game. Some of the cash, about 2 days' pay, goes directly to each family.
Water wells project.
Other revenues are distributed to local villages.
1,243,333 kwacha.
Last year, in the Leponde game management area, local villagers decided how to spend more than $200,000. At this gathering of Musamba villagers, the debate got angry because the village committee didn't keep a promise to build new wells. They spent some of the money on themselves.
Budget ya last year ni 80 mangiro office kapena mu 2000 ndino mutitendere soti kuyako soti ku office ya MSC mutiuje.
At the end of the day, these people voted to throw several village committeemen out of office. They also set aside money for new wells, a small dam, and the hiring of more game scouts to monitor and protect wildlife. At this moment, this father is only thinking about his son's broken leg. But to the chief officer here at the Musamba Rural Health Center, the wildlife revenues mean electric power. Electrification of the clinic means better care, better medical equipment, and a better chance to cure disease. Wildlife revenues brought these power lines to the clinic, one of more than 200 projects that include the building of water wells, schools, and the hiring of teachers and game scouts.
That is part of a documentary on the work being done in Africa that was showed on public broadcast. And it's very interesting because you can actually see the bartering. It doesn't happen. People are automatically kicked out. So they don't wait around. They want this to work, it looks like. And then obviously we saw at the end, they got electricity, part of what they wanted. Why is this so important to them that it's working?
Oh, because they finally got a stake in the wildlife populations. Something which was previously an absolute pest to them is now an asset. It's something becomes an important part of their economy. So it's empowering, it's democratizing. I mean, what you saw there was grassroots democracy at its best. and anybody who doesn't perform, they're on their bicycle.
How does that make you feel to see that?
It's gratifying because it goes back to the principles of Sand County Almanac, the importance of building community for democracy at the local level when issues are bigger than an individual landowner can manage. In the case of wildlife, whether it be elephants, lions, as we saw, the proper and effective utilization of those has to be done at a scale where it's multiple landowners, often multiple communities. And here's a case where a community finds that immediacy of benefit from, as Mike said, what had been a pest becomes an asset. Yeah. Quick example that would suffice to show it further. In Zimbabwe, with inappropriate wildlife law, animals that we treasure, like cheetahs, like lions and such, were gunned down. They were, in effect, vermin. With the change in the law to more along the lines of what we think in Sand County Foundation is sustainable long-term, landowners who had been shooting cheetahs began buying them to bring them back to restock. So whether it be a set of villagers who are taking democratic action or a landowner taking action on his own, if the benefits can be brought to be local, to be immediate, the set of things, good things that happen are big, strong, and have lessons transferable.
We were talking earlier about the number of people still unaware that this exists. How do you get the word out in Africa? That was a great turnout at the meeting we just saw, right? But that's a small number, I'm sure.
Right. Well, that's part of what this community-based conservation network that I'm directing in Africa on behalf of the foundation. That's what it's about. It's to spread those lessons and those kinds of experiences to wider groups of practitioners. And the whole idea of community-based natural resource management is growing quite rapidly. Yeah. But we've still got a long way to go in terms of learning what are the best ways. What are the best ways of organizing people? What are the best ways of matching individuals and villages and then broader accumulations of people and their decision-making power with the kind of resource that they're going to manage? For example, elephants need to be managed over a very large area, whereas something like impala, which is similar in size to your white-tailed deer, that can be managed much more locally. But it's all about who has the right to decide on how it's going to be used, where it's going to be, how the benefits that come from it are going to be used and distributed and so on.
So that's a lot of work that's still going on.
There's a great deal of work,
Yes.
and getting those kinds of rules in place and properly negotiated between individuals and groups, and then the government as well. It's quite a process.
Okay, and here then,
An example of how that plays out is our community-based conservation network work with fishermen. And in the same way that elephants require, if you will, a great deal of land upon which they can maintain successful populations.
yes,
Many stocks of fish need large areas. That's really meaningful for fishermen who are in communities that depend on successful fisheries. That's how they have employment. That's how they pay for the schools, whether it's in Maine or Rhode Island or Oregon or Hawaii or whatever. Again, bringing the immediacy of benefit and resource management together in a way where the community has not only a stake in the outcome, but a means to affect that outcome, does improve the resource and community vitality.
I'm picturing right now the landowner, landholder, or the person just watching saying, well, what do I get from this? What would you say to them?
I'd say with respect to fishermen, you're going to get nets more full of fish that you can put into your markets in a profitable way, but it's going to require some diligence, it's going to be requiring some good science, and it's going to require you to actually cooperate.
Okay, this is where we're going to stop for just a moment, and we'll talk a little bit more when we come back about how other people can get involved if they're interested. I think there's a lot of opportunity here from what I'm hearing. We'll be right back with more this Sunday for The Record.